Hello guys, this is Pedram Raufi and you're watching the markets review for today's day tradings. And we're going to go through the situation which is now going on in the stock market. Some stock indexes, we're going through them. Technically, we're going to make a review of each of them. And of course, the Forex pairs, we're going through the main Forex pairs, gold, oil as well, and cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're going to see what is going on with different assets today and what kind of opportunities we have for trading during the day for day traders. The week have been started and we need to see what would come up as a releases in the economic calendar as well. For today's day, economic calendar is kind of rich. And we are waiting for some releases by the Greenwich time. I'm going to tell you about 12 o'clock and 12:30 from Britain and United States. So we are waiting for a volatility rising of British pound and United States dollar, and that's all for today, actually. Let's see what is going on with the dollar index and the stock market. As you know, they have an opposite correlation, which could help you to understand what can you do with these two assets. I mean, stock market, different shares, and of course, the situation which we have on the dollar price chart. We're going through the daily chart first because we need to know what is the whole trend is now going on different charts and technically what situation we are waiting for in the midterm or long term during the week, for example. And then after that, we are going to see what we have during the day. So what could we do during the day and during today's day as well. This week have been started, and as you see, the dollar prices have been reversed. If you remember, we already talked about the dollar reversal from the local maximum, which is here. We actually talked about it in the previous reviews, that dollar prices can really get dumped. They can reverse from top of the market. And as you see, the predictions have been come true, and we have a reversal of dollar prices, which could really continue during the week. During the previous week, at the end of the previous week review, I actually told you that dollar prices can really make a reversal from top of market. And as we see, the stock market indexes, S&P 500 and Dow Jones as well, they are rising. In the daily chart of S&P 500 and Dow Jones, we had a real good rise from yesterday. We had a real good rise from the end of previous week. But what is really related to? Fundamentally, it's related to the fact which we know that the Federal Reserve System and European Bank, they are going to harden or tighten the monetary policy not as fast as we think because of the inflation. And if you know, in many different resources, we had different news about that. Inflation is getting higher and higher. But really, here's a moment of conspiracy or the positive actual trend of stock market, which is continuing. And as you see, the correction was really low. But many people maybe talk about the reversal of the markets, but as we said and as we actually repeated, the stock market could really update the maximums. It could really rise to the maximums in the near future. So that's the situation which we have today. But what would go on during today's day? Let's go through the analysis of the Forex pairs, so we would know what to trade in during the day and what kind of trend we have during the day and at the first moments of this week. So as you see, the euro dollar, pound dollar, Australian dollar, to United States dollar, and New Zealand dollar to United States dollar, all of them are strengthening. They're strengthening inside of the channel, inside of a falling channel. That's actually a downward channel, which is here. I'm gonna draw it for you. As you know, the channels are useful as well. They just show us what kind of trend we have. What is the trend? What is the whole trend? As you see in the daily charts, Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar both, they're located in the downward channels. And as well, pound to USD dollar, and of course euro to USD dollar as well, they're in the downward. They're moving between a downward channel, which is continuing its movement. We actually observed the retest of local supports in the euro, and the situation which we have now, it's a reversal. We've had a formation, widening formation. It's when the volatility get widening, and this widening is about that the situation in markets is going to get a reversal. If some formation forms near to the top of the market or the bottom of the market, that's actually a signal of a reversal. And sorry. And as you know, another formation which we had here, this formation in the euro dollar, that's actually the shrinking. That's actually a shrinking of the volatility, and it has a downward trend actually. And these kind of formations have their own signals, and all of this actually, they are the technical analysis patterns by the help of which we can actually predict in which direction price could really continue to move. So for USD dollar to for euro to dollar, the rising movement, the upward movement have been actually started after this shrinking and after the widening. Let's see what would be next. For euro dollar, due to the 4-hour chart and due to the potential of the price movement during the day, we could have a downward reversal, maybe correctional reversal, or just stop. A stop. It would look like a stop of upward movement, upward movement of the price in the day. So maybe we could get some consolidation here, here. 1.70 and 1.68, let's say, maybe 66 or 68. That's actually not a really bad range from which we could get the signal. The retest of this range could really cause the next reversal, or just after the retest of this range, we could really see a consolidational movement. So the buys would continue, but the impulse here is really powerful. So this kind of powerful impulses during the day could be the sign of that price could stop the trend, the upward movement in this case, after the retest of some local resistance or supports. So here we have the range 1.17 and 1.1670 or 1680, after the retest of which we could get a reversal. But in the future, due to the dollar price's reversal and the stock market upward movement, in the future, in the midterm future, we could really see and we could really observe the next upward movement. We could really observe the continuation of the upward movement of euro, pound, Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar as well. Pound to dollar, British pound to dollar, it looks like that it already kind of testing the upper border of the downward channel, which could be signal of next reversal. So here we have the range actually as well. Let's see in the 4-hour chart, so we could observe and we could find the levels more careful and more accurate. 1.3850, it could be a good level, it could be a good mark for a test. So we have a real good impulse here, upward impulse, But in the near future, when the American session start, we could observe the change in the trend. So what kind of releases today we got in United States? Building permits, which is a really important release, which is getting lower. So that's not a real good sign. That's not a real good prediction. So maybe due to these predictions, now dollar is kind of getting more dumped, as you see. But in the near future, during the day, as you know, as you can see and as you can observe, the upward movement potential is kind of getting near to the end. So for day traders, maybe you have to be careful that you have to just close the buys in the near future within some hours. Maybe you have to just close the long positions. 1.38, 1.3840, that's a good range, after the retest of which we could maybe get a correctional reversal. That not have to be a long-term reversal or mid-term. That's just a correctional reversal. And Australian dollar to United States dollar, as we see in the day in the daily chart, we are now retesting the local resistance, and very impulsively. 4-hour chart is showing us that the impulse is really high, really powerful. So we have to get ready for the next reversal, and what kind of levels we have near to, what kind of resistance we have. We have actually a mirror level here, 0.7560. 0.7560, which is a real mirror level after the retest of which, after an impulsive retest of which, it means that if we get retested, if this level gets retested with a paranormal candle, with a paranormal bar, and the closing of the bar or the candle, if it would be near to this level, it could be the sign of the next reversal or just a stop in an upward movement or a consolidational movement. So to know what you need to do next, you have to just be careful that buys could really end. Buys could really finish after the retest of 0.7540, 0.7560, something like that. New Zealand dollar to United States dollar, they're actually retesting the local resistance as well. The local resistance is getting retested, and this retest is really impulsive. So what we have next, due to the levels, due to the situation we have here, 0.72, that's a psychological level, which is really important because the retest of psychological level caused the reversal, or the strengthening above the psychological level could really cause the next the continuation of the whole trend, of the upward trend. So here maybe we could have the downward reversal just because of the impulsiveness of today's trend, of today's movement. So this impulsiveness could really cause the next reversal or just the next consolidational movement. Just pay attention that this range which is here, which is getting inside in, is really consolidational range. Look. So because of this really high impulse, we can continue the buys for Australian dollar, for New Zealand dollar, for euro, for pound, but we have to be careful that we have to close them in the near future. Let's see what's going on with gold prices and silver prices and platinum prices. As we see the gold prices, here's continue the consolidational movement. Gold is kind of a defensive asset, or we say risk asset. When something is wrong with the stock market, when the capitalization of stock market is getting lower, or the investors are less interested in the investing in stock market or the economy, the price of gold get higher. The price of gold get pumped, or the precious metals. All the precious metals, the price of all the precious metals get higher, get pumped, because of the situation which we could have in the stock market in the near future. But stock market is rising, and the gold really could be under the pressure. Another really important thing about gold is the really important level of 1,800. 1,800 is a really important level, after the retest of which we had a reversal. So we know that historically, during previous months, we really used 1.800 to know where the gold prices could really continue to go. Above this level, previously, we had some consolidations. And as you see, the previous time when we retested it, we just had the reversal. So it means that the price is getting weakened. The price is getting weakened, and this weakness could really continue. Situation with the quarantine, situation with lockdowns in the near future, and the vaccine effectiveness could really have a good impact on the gold prices, because if we know if for example if the World Health Organization just come out and say, for example, that the effectiveness of vaccine are getting lower and lower, and we have some mutations somewhere, the gold prices can really get pumped so good. And this kind of news that for today are the real most important one, on which we have to just make more, on which we have to just concentrate. And let's just see what is going on during the day. 4 hours chart, really high impulsive movement, really powerful impulsive movement from the local support of 1,760 or 65. And this kind of movement, which is really impulsive, the impulsive upward movement, the impulsive upward impulse, after the retest of this local support, could be a good opportunity to get into the short positions again. So as price is getting near to the middle of the previous impulse, we could really get more ready for getting into the short positions again. We have a real good impulsive retest of the middle of previous impulse. And due to this fact, if the consolidation happens here about 1,780 or 1,790, or if we have a real impulsive candles which close between this range of 1,790, 1,780, this could be a really good signal in 4-hour chart or in 1-hour chart to just get ready to get into the short positions again. And as you know, in the midterm, we are waiting for the real good pumping of gold prices because of the quarantine is getting near. And as you know, the vaccine effectiveness is under the question, and there's many other factors which could really help gold prices to pump again near to the end of the year, actually. And silver during the day, here we have impulsive upward movement as well, so it could really end. Buys, we are continuing the buys, and we continue the buys, but just be careful that 24.20 and 24 are the levels after the retest of which you could get reversal. So we are waiting for the retest of these levels, and if you are conservative, you just can't close the buys near to this level, so you won't get so much, as we say, hurt financially. And platinum prices. Here we have a consolidation as well, but in the 4-hour chart and 1-hour chart, we have a real good upward impulse. And due to the situation which we have here, 1,050 and 1,060 is the range after the retest of which we could get reversal. If we could have some impulsive retest, it could be a good signal, but in the near future, I think that we could get dumped. And for gold, and for silver, and for platinum, we just can't get dumped. And after this dump, we could really continue the downward movement in the short term. But after that, in the because of the news background, which is getting more awful, getting more depressive as we get near to the next year or to the winter, because of the virus, because of the interest rate which could get higher. And it was just the last week that Fed Reserve publicly said that yes, we are going to rise them later, not now. So all the facts here are now kind of could really turn against the dollar, against the oil market, against the stock market. But at the end, the only thing that really can help the risk assets and commodity or the precious metals is the crisis which we have, which is continuing. And with a higher inflation, actually, it could really continue further. But nowadays, all of these defensive assets, all of these risk assets or commodities are under the pressure. Euro, franc, Swedish franc, dollar and Swedish franc, dollar, Japanese yen, and pound to Japanese yen. We're going to go through the defense assets, or as we say, the assets of risk, the Forex pairs, which are related to the risk factor of the market. In the daily chart, we have a reversal in the euro franc, and in dollar franc, kind of we are retesting the local support as well. So on both of these two charts, we could have a reversal. But let's see exactly what is going on 4-hour chart and 1-hour chart. We have a consolidation, and unfortunately, we don't have the good pressure to the local. We cannot observe actually good pressure, strong pressure to the local resistance. 1.74, 1.75, it could be a good range of next retest. But as you know, if we get retest this range impulsively, this would be a really good signal of a next downward move. So maybe for these two pairs, we have to just wait so they get impulsively retest the local resistance, and after we can dump them. I think that we can dump them even now, but maybe it could be a kind of a little risky. So be careful here. Actually, that's a good news that we have a real short stops. We could have a real short stops, especially if we get next upward impulse. So short stops for next limit sells, And for US dollar to Swiss franc, we have a downward movement already, actually, and in the daily chart. But in 4-hour chart and 1-hour chart, we are retesting the local support. So here we could really actually wait for next upward movement, a correctional upward movement, and after the retest of 0.92, 0.9220, 0.92, 0.9220, it's about here. After this, with a really low stop, which is near to this mirror level, about 0.9240, we could actually get into the next sell limit orders, actually started sell limit orders, maybe more successfully. US dollar to Japanese yen, which have been pumped really good during last week, but we have some kind of loss of the impulsiveness, loss of the amplitude, and this loss of the amplitude could really be the signal of next reversal. As you know, dollar is getting dumped, but here we don't have the downward movement. As you remember, we were so sure about the continuation of the United States dollar rising to Japanese yen because of the political factor. As we said and as we predicted from 2 weeks ago about US dollar to Japanese yen, that the situation politically in Japan is kind of changing because that the new prime minister is coming to the work to be the prime minister of the country, and he is pro stimulus program continuation. So stimulus program continuation, it means that the inflation can get higher, but as you know, economically it won't be bad for Japan, and the moment of Japanese yen downward movement, or just weakening, or just loss, it would be really good for the export of the Japan, because as you know, the most huge part of the Japanese GDP is actually include the export of the country, and export is more cheap when the price of the national currency is getting dumped. So the country is really interested, as well as Swiss. They're so interested in the dumping of their own currency, and here we won't really get a good short movements. And as you see, and as we said, that really here to go short or to trade short positions could be really dangerous, because dollar is weakening. Yes, dollar is weakening, but yen is weakening as well. So the situation here could be really more conservative for buyers of dollar, which believe in the stock market collapsing in the future, and etc. British pound and the Japanese yen daily chart consolidation, which could end with the next upward movement. Actually, it could really end with next upward movement. As you see, the pound is powerful vs Japanese yen, and because of the reasons that we have. But pound is getting kind of dumped because of some political moments, which is related to the Brexit effect, the Brexit moments, which are kind of irritating the economy of the country. And these moments could really cause the pound to get maybe dumped, but to Japanese yen it won't get dumped. So as you know, US dollar to Japanese yen and pound to Japanese yen are the real good assets for buyers, which are really continuing to buy. And as we said already, they were so good because of the very strong fundamental factor of the Japan new minister coming and the stimulus program continuation. Oil prices, which have been dumped during previous days, and this candle, it's a real bad signal for buyers. It's a real bad signal for buyers. And here we have kind of widening of the volatility. And widening formation of the volatility is when we could get reversed in any time. We could get reversed from the top anytime. So here for oil, maybe we could, during the day, maybe we could really get into shorts, get into short positions even in near future, I think. 82, 82.50, a really good range for stops of the sell limit orders. And this situation for oil is kind of really under the question as well, because the oil market and the natural gas market are so strong now, are so strong because of the energy crisis in the world. And maybe if something happened with quarantine, if the quarantine starts, if the lockdown gets started, we could really see the downward movement of these assets. So Mainly, we are looking for next upward movements, but nowadays we have some correctional movements, and for sellers of natural gas or oil market, you have to just be careful that for sellers, you maybe can do some speculative, very short positions during the day, not much. And because of the fact that downward movement of oil is so speculative and it could really end really fast. So for oil market, yes, it's getting dumped, but here we have to really be careful. Maybe in 5 minutes, maybe 5-minute chart or 15-minute chart, you can do something, but better in the 5-minute chart during the day. And as you know, if dollar get dumped further, the oil can really reverse again and go upward. So if dollar shows himself more strong during the day, which is kind of under the question as well, because of the stock market rising and etc., the oil price can go down. But here we have the widening formation. That's a situation in which we don't really have to do anything. So the widening formation is actually a signal of which we just have to stay away from market. United States dollar to Canadian dollar. Situation here is pro oil. It's actually looks really good for sellers due to daily charts. But be really careful that here we could get a reversal. Do we have any levels, any psychological levels near? 1.2280, 1.2260, let's say. 1.2260, 1.2260, that's a good level in the midterm. It could get retested and then the reversal could happen. So United States dollar is dumping, stock market is getting higher, oil price is consolidating, and the short positions for oil is under question. So we can really say that this pair could continue the downward movement, but we have to be careful after the retest or when the price is getting near to 1.2260. So when price get near to 1.2260, maybe we have to think about the short positions closure or something like that. Bitcoin prices and Ethereum prices, previously they have been made a good rally, but the rally is so impulsive. The rally is so impulsive for Bitcoin and for Ethereum. It looks like that we have some reversal movement here. Do we have any signs of the divergence? Actually, here we had a sign of the divergence for Ethereum, but it's already finished in 1 point. For Bitcoin, did we have any? Oh, we have a sign of divergence now for Bitcoin. And divergence, it means that the price really could start the downward movement in near future. But be careful, because the downward movement here after the divergence could continue to 60,000. Because if the amplitude still stays like this, and if the retest of the $60,000 get impulsive, if we get an impulsive retest of this level, it could be a good sign of next reversal and upward movement. So maybe now for Bitcoin, we are actually looking to the wedge. That's a rising wedge, which is not a good signal. And for buyers, I'm really not so sure in the near future because of this impulse. If you remember, previously we told you about this impulse. Actually, it was yesterday during the program which I had in Russian. But here, this impulse was observed from yesterday's and from previous week tradings. And this impulse was really the sign of the upward movement stop. And as we see, the upward movement have been stopped after this really big paranormal formation. So maybe now for Bitcoin is it could be a really good situation to fix your profit. Just fix your profit and maybe get out of market for some while, and then next, within some time, return to it. So now Bitcoin is showing that showing the fixation of the profit. And as we see, Ethereum is showing the fixation of the profit as well, but Ethereum looks more powerful. I don't know why. 3,700, 3,750, we are waiting for the retest of this level. Thank you guys for watching this video. I wish that you liked it. If you had any questions or any commentaries, don't forget to comment them under this video, and don't forget to subscribe on the channel, it's very important, and ring the bell so you would know what kind of programs we have in the future and you could watch. To the next time, have good tradings. Bye bye.